All right, so Esper Flash. Yeah, playing on MTGO has always been awful, and now we have a better way to play Magic, agree? Firm agree. So there's even more reasons to play this rather than Modern on Magic Online. Anywho, Esper Flash. So we played a little bit of Bant Flash on stream, and one of the biggest things that deck struggles with is its ability to close games, or is its ability to interact with resolved permanents. So one of the things that adding black to this deck does is it gives you the way to kill things that have resolved. That being said, we do lose Frilled Mystic, which is a little bit sad. It'd give up a 15th. You'd like a 15th blue. I don't know that we need 15 blue. Like, we have Revitalize as a white cantrip, so I think one thing I am going to change before we play is that I really hate Seal Away. I don't think this card's very good. And I think with Mortify and Vraska's Contempt here, I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 more Moment of Cravings in my main deck. And I have Revitalize here as well. So let's give that a go. All right. I'm going to re-export that really quick. Blah, blah, something clever with the brand new Prime support. Thanks for taking the time to ship that my way this month. I appreciate that. Thanks for the Bezo bucks. Thoughts on Cast Down? I think with Mortify, I don't really need Cast Down. I'd rather have played Moment of Craving to have flexibility to kill things like a Danto Vanguard. Yeah, the Seal Away is poor for 2 reasons right now, in my opinion. One is that the timing restrictions on Seal Away are really awkward because it has to exile a tapped creature. And the second is that because it's a card, because Seal Away is a card that's an enchantment that sits in the battlefield, it's vulnerable to opposing interaction when you're playing it. So the timing restrictions in conjunction with your opponent being able to interact with it make it really pretty mediocre in my opinion. There you go. Let's take a peek at what they have going on over here. Frilled Mystic, Vraska's Contempt, Discovery. Alright, let's take your toy away. Well, I guess they couldn't cast that for a second. Yeah, I'll take Hallowed Fountain. I probably want to hit my first number of land drops here. That's going to bring the rest of my lands into play untapped. I think Ethereal Absolution will find a home in construction. I don't think that card's very good. I think there's a lot of really good enchantment removal being played, not only in the main decks, but just in general right now. And I think Ethereal Absolution is just too vulnerable. I assume I'm going to lose Search for Azcanta here. Of course, if they have ways to destroy enchantments, they might leave that and take something like Chromium. The biggest problem with Ethereal Absolution, past being vulnerable to interaction, is the fact that the type of effect that it is, you really only want against a control deck to generate grindy value, but the fact that it can't generate grindy value if your opponent doesn't have creatures makes it mediocre. My favorite non-flash deck of Rav Standard. We played White Weenie, splashing Dovin and Heroic Reinforcements today. That was awesome. It's either that or Hadana's Climb. There's a lot of different... I know that's not a specific deck, it's like archetype, but like the Hadana's Climb archetypes have been really sweet so far in my experience. Whoa, mods on high alert. Mods on high alert. Please, mods, clear those out. Thank you. I just changed the follower mode to half an hour for now. We're being raided by a bot, is what happened. Being raided by bots, plural. They just put chat in slow mode. You know you're baited if you're getting raided by bots, right? Yeah, they had a couple come in the other day. They must be getting more intelligent, because once upon a time, if you just had follower only mode enabled in your chat, bots couldn't come in like that. I actually don't know the checkbox for sub only mode. Is it just /sub only? There's not a checkbox on the thing that I can tick off. Alright, so is this the part where we play Chromium and then just kill them? Alright, I'm taking chat off of slow mode. Next time we'll go sub only for a hot second. Skynet is here. The bots are coming for us. That's true. We're lucky we have more mods than most channels on Twitch. Alright, so this Godless Shrine is now on Protect the Chromium duty. So I don't want to do permanent sub-only mode for my streams. I know we're getting big enough that, like, other people of this size start to do that, but I feel like a big part of why a lot of folks end up subscribing to my channel is because I, like, interact with them a bit before they do. So I feel like while we have to sort through some random stuff sometime and time idiots out, like, I feel like it is important to my income to build more people that want to support my stuff to, like, not do sub-only mode. I'm like a B or maybe a B plus Magic player, but like as far as like interaction with my chat goes, I'm very good, especially compared to most people who stream on Twitch. Even with the number of people that we have in chat compared to other folks, I feel like I'm able to catch more people. Nah, I think B plus Magic player is like B plus Magic player is being plenty kind to myself. Not everybody's an A plus. That's just not how it works. Are there any streamers on Twitch you'd rate A or A plus? Probably a good number of these MPL players that are doing stuff right now. Those folks are doing some good things. Do I just like Dream Eater and like pick your Krasis up? I think so, right? Just like get my Surveil on. Any expectations from SCG this weekend? Yeah, all the decks that were good before are still good. Who do I think is the best average Magic player? I have no idea. I don't really spend brain cells thinking about stuff like that. And I think I just pass here again, because if they want to like play the Krasis out again, I just like play another Dream Eater. Sure. How much time till next week? We just started this one. So we're gonna be on this one for another 90 minutes or so. Why not syncopate the Krasis? Because I want to put a 4-3 into play, and I don't care if they play the Krasis again the following turn. Can a mod who wants to help out please go look up how we ban phrases in Twitch chat so we can auto mod these stupid bots? I should probably know how to do that offhand, but I don't at the moment. And I'm not going to be done streaming for a while. Alright, so they're like green, black, splash, blue. Is there anything, do I have to like click through settings? Yeah, I'm not gonna, we'll just have to deal with it today. I'll put that on my list of things to look into later. Alright, Thought Erasure and Thief of Sanity sound good. Settle the Wreckage probably isn't stellar in this matchup. Moment of Cravings probably leaves a bit to be desired too. Arguel's Bloodfast seems fine. Consecrate Consume sounds great. Yeah, just like ban the URL thing that they're doing basically, Zach. Thank you. Profane Procession's probably pretty okay here, huh? It just like exile stuff. Maybe it's not good enough to put in a second one. I want to leave in some of these so I get my land drops consistently. This is what they were posting exactly. This hand seems fine. Consecrate cantrips at least. We are late a blue source though. We've only played one game, Jay. So not really sure. What's going on, Hemby? Thanks for dropping in. Hope you're having a good one. I am running late today, but then I am going to be taking off all weekend. If you're looking for standard content this weekend, I'd recommend you check out either my, like, 70 hours of standard archives on YouTube at this point, or the Star City Games Open that's going to be going on this weekend. Alright, so we hit Thief of Sanity, which means we have 2 shots to draw an untapped blue source next turn. We have Consecrate plus a draw step. I am not going to Indianapolis. It is currently snowing outside. It's supposed to be snowing most of the weekend. Perfect. You know, I think I finally figured out why people always mention my inflection thing. And I've discovered, I'm pretty confident I know what I'm doing and what's happening. So when you start forming a sentence in your mind, you don't always know everything that what you're going to say, especially when I'm waiting for what my opponent's going to do to influence what I'm going to say fully. So once I actually know what I'm going to say, I start to talk faster, which makes me talk a little bit higher, because I need to get on to the next thing, right? Like, I need to be dictating what's going on in the game at all time, in addition to grabbing random questions off of chat. And I think a lot of people just aren't used to someone that talks as much as I do during streams, right? Like, a lot of people have music going to fill in downtime, whereas I basically am talking the entire time I'm streaming, almost all the time. Correct, yeah. As I know what I'm saying, I talk faster. And as I talk faster, my pitch goes up a little bit. Which, for whatever reason, people have never heard someone speak differently than them, apparently, and they feel the need to, like, point it out like it's some revelation. Ever lost my voice from streaming? I have not. So I have some small amount of training as doing formal acting. So I'm not shouting. I'm projecting my voice from my diaphragm. You only really wear out your voice if you're using your vocal cords to spread your voice out. Whereas if you project from your center of mass, you can speak for a long time at a high volume. It's funny because I don't really care if they notice or, like, whatever reason it pisses them off, but, like, the reason why it happens is because I'm trying to deliver more content. Alright, so Krasis represents a lot of things. I guess if they draw a land, Find Finality kills my Thief of Sanity. But if they kill my Thief of Sanity, I'm kind of okay with that, right? I think I'm going to take the Find Finality, actually. I'm going to leave this land on top of my deck. I'm going to play the Arguel's Bloodfast out. Yeah, but not everyone starts to talk faster once they fully form what their thought's going to be, because not everybody's trying to get out as many words as possible per minute. Because your pitch comes across as a question rather than a statement in tone, which gets to people. Well, people are wankers. They need to bugger off. Also, a lot of the time I am asking questions. If you have any education, if you have any educational experience as a teacher, you shouldn't just respond to questions with a statement. If you want to help people actually learn, you should always respond to questions with a question if you're teaching accordingly. If you just respond to a question with a bold-faced answer, you're spoon-feeding someone. You're not actually helping them learn. You're just helping them memorize. And memorization is like mental masturbation. It's the lowest form of learning. Just sitting there and memorizing stuff isn't actually going to help you grow as a person. Alright, so they've got an unknown, and they've got these two, so I'm just going to go ahead and attack with Thief of Sanity. Well, yikes. Alright. Cannot play lands with Thief of Sanity before anybody asks. I think I'm going to shock this in. If I shock this in, it gives me the ability to activate this and Mortify or cast Angel of Grace, which is nice. Sure. Yeah. Do you think it's the right answer? Why do you think it's the right answer? Why might it not be? Jesus watches you while you memorize. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, again, like people have never heard someone speak in a different accent than they do with a different inflection. And to be honest, there's probably a lot of people who have never had a good teacher who's responded to most of their questions with questions. I don't know if I have an accent. I don't think people from the Midwest I mean, I'm sure everybody has an accent. I genuinely have no idea. Mostly because I don't care. I try not to listen to how people are talking, listen to what they're saying and what their intentions are. Alright, well that was 4-3 for 4 that drew 4 cards. God bless. Go. So, this is an easy Mortify at this point. Perfect. And I'm actually going to Mortify this. And one of the most important things you can learn how to do when playing a matchup like this is recognizing when to play your cards that have flash at sorcery speed is really important. Because they have a counterspell here, so I'm playing on my turn while they're tapped out, so their counterspell is less effective. And when my friends ask me for help, yeah, my first question is, do you want to learn something or are you only trying to pass? That's a good question. Is this your last math class? If it is, you know, fine, whatever. If it's not, you probably shouldn't blow this off. I think this current standard format is great, not only because of the mana, but because of the threat answer diversity that exists in it. Alright, down to 1, go. Only the wettest fart, yep. Whoop. Yikes. No, I don't hide things. I don't hide things from the stream. I work so much that I don't really have time to play Magic off stream. In fact, the one deck idea that I've kind of wanting to work on that we haven't played on stream yet is the next deck that we're playing. It's the blue-green ooze deck. I'm gonna see that up next here. I doubt anybody that streams 30+ hours a week plays much Magic offline. Although I see Nox tweet about playing Magic offline fairly frequently, so maybe that's not true. Was that a good top deck? What do we think? Yikes. Maybe, you know what? I think I punted here. I think I should have ignored their Uzin play, taken a hit, and then played the Angel of Grace, because then I would have killed them, right? I think that's what I should have done. I think my sequencing was a mistake here. Arguel's Bloodfast plus Angel of Grace Exile is kind of sweet. Maybe I should have just played this on my turn. They have enough mana that if I play this now, they can Memorial to Folly, pick back up their thing, and then do it again. Yeah, I think maybe I should have, I don't know. Like, I let myself think about, like, sorcery speed removal, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, main phase Mortify the non-lethal threat was a mistake, I think. I'm gonna leave that there, because it's good with Bloodfast. I think I can decline flipping Bloodfast, right? Yeah, so let's decline this. I'm just gonna go ahead and pass here. Yeah, I think I would have won this game if I would have ignored the ooze for a turn and just flashed the angel in. Sure. Yeah, this is their memorial to Folly that a Thief of Sanity took earlier in the game. For people wondering what this is doing hanging out over here, you can't play lands off of Thief of Sanity. So it just has to sit there. So this is best of 3 Magic the Gathering. So you're right, Arguel's Bloodfast is very bad against aggro. That's why you don't play it against aggro. We actually have a Bloodfast of our own too. That is a stolen one, but we have one of our own also. I'm gonna flash this in response, in case they don't already have a counterspell in their hand. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and Revitalize here a couple of times, just like play all my stuff out before. Although I guess rather than that, I could go ahead and activate Azcanta. Yeah, we'll do that. Kinda awkward that they're up to 6 here. Feels bad, man. They discarded my Chromium early from a Thought Erasure, so I'm kind of running low on threats this game. Yeah. Yeah, we might not have enough threats to actually close this game out. Syncopate looking real awkward at this point. We don't have a copy of Memorial. Yeah, the Krasis is a cast trigger, so that means if the trigger to draw cards and stuff like that goes on the stack, regardless of if the Krasis resolves. Oh, let's sit down. I've been standing for a hot second here. I clicked through the end of my turn there. I hit spacebar one too many times. Or the end of their turn. Mistakes happen. I didn't play out Azcanta because I intended to use most of my mana here. Alright, reset. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, alright, so you're saying there's a chance. That's all we need, chat. All we need is a chance. Don't you dare cast a Krasis. Stop it. Stop it. They played the untapped land and they are currently counting. Don't do it. Oh my god. That bloke with the brand new Prime support, thank you very much and welcome. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. All right, I'm a little hungry. Some fish is on the menu, I think. We could deck them. There are 12 cards in their deck. There are 17 in ours. Maybe we could just run them out of threats. Deal. These are my cards that draw more cards, draw more cards, draw more cards. These are my cards that draw more cards. Do, 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 do. How many more threats do they have? Because, like, they can't even really cast another big Krasis because drawing isn't optional, right? Gain X and draw X. Yeah, that's not optional. That's true. Thief Insanity is really good. Ooh, Discovery. That's good for us. Okay. Okay, 16 to 10. Let's do it. Nine. Aye. Oh. Let's go. Aye. Oh, let's go. What do they even get back here? They get a Vivian? Vivian doesn't do anything. They get, like, they get a Chromium? They get my Chromium? Can I survive my Chromium for this many turns? Probably not. Yeah, especially if I have any amount of interaction. Do I have any more consumes? That's a good question. They're drawing 4 cards? Why are they drawing 4 cards? Deal? How do I order these? Does it not let me order? Azcanta is supposed to let me put them in any order. Is there not a way I can order my own cards with Azcanta? None of those. You have to be in full control mode? Well, that's rancid. That's a really good one. 14 to 4. Okay. So, counter unless X is 6. Counter unless X is 2. This leaves me exactly enough mana to play Profane Procession out. Devious cover-up incoming, right? Alright, Vraska's Contempt doesn't matter. Discovery, all these other cards don't matter. Should take Frilled Mystic. I'm gonna leave that there, and I'm gonna Azcanta during my next upkeep so I don't draw it. If they Dispersal of Procession, I just discard something else, chat. And then I replay it, and they don't have their counterspell anymore. Double Hawk, you can watch the start of my video from earlier today, where we played, what was that? We played Grixis Dragons. We talked about, like, for 5 solid minutes, why Unmortigo, I think, is an unplayable card. So I have 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I can exile 3 things here. That means I'm dead, right? I guess I can finagle it. So... Can I get back to this Angel of Grace? I don't think so. And like the fact that it didn't let me order these and like it put Angel of Grace in the bottom makes this even harder, right? Yeah, if I could have ordered this to the top, it would have been here, I believe, instead of on the bottom of my deck. Yeah, we needed them to not draw Ooze this turn. That's really unfortunate. That was my upkeep, chat. That was my upkeep. And remember, that was the game where on like turn 7 or 8, I mortified a non-lethal Ooze token instead of playing a lethal attacker, and then like it allowed them to snowball, right? Like it allowed them to hit runner into runner into runner, that eventually ended up getting them back into the game. I don't know anything that's better or worse in this format. I've played 3 games with something. I have no idea if this deck is good. It might be good, it might be terrible. I'm gonna bring the second Profane Procession in. Card seems good in a low threat density matchup. Yeah, we also, like, in addition, like, to allow my mistake to snowball is, like, we had them, like, to nothing 2 times in a row, and then, like, they hit Krasis and, like, gas back up. Have a good one, Cinco. Believe it or not, they didn't draw their Krasises when there were 4 cards in their deck. They, like, drew another Krasis when there were, like, 30 cards in their deck. No, as Kanta puts them back in any order. Apparently on Arena, it only lets you put them back in a random order, though. In paper, you choose the order they go on the bottom of your deck. That's why you're able to see the order of them. Well, this is really good for us. It means you're not killing Thief. Man, that's unfortunate. That happened to us last game, too. Like, they had really good draws, and, like, we hit 3 lands with Thief. Brutal. Believe it or not, I don't do much other than stream, which is why I'm taking this weekend off. My last week has mostly been prepare to stream in the morning, stream, do post-stream stuff, sleep, repeat. Very frustrating.
Let's see if you're worthy. No one said restoration was painless. I've seen things that would break someone like you.
RQR, thank you for the 3 years. I appreciate it. Sorry, that's probably when I bent over to grab something to eat. Oh, I don't even see it. Maybe it was before that when I was trying to figure out what's going on.
Come to me.
Yep. Probably dead. No, none of the cards in Allegiance play into that. None of the cards in Allegiance go into that deck. Green, black, all the existing guild colors that had cards in guilds didn't get tools in Allegiance, really. There are a couple of monocolor cards that were useful, like, say, what's it called? I'm blanking on its name at the moment. The little pinchy crab guy, but... Zoidberg. Growth Chamber. Yeah, Growth Chamber goes into most things. Most things that make green mana. Yeah, I'm gonna be done here. We need some more things to break our way this game. I punted the second game. The deck could have won the second game if I wouldn't have messed it up. And that third game, we just kind of didn't have anything go our way. Like, we hit on the Thief of Sanity, and they bricked. We just didn't draw any spells. There's not a whole lot we could do there. But would have played the second game better. There probably wouldn't have been a third game. Yikes. Alright. Ooh. Three color mana bases. Do you get gold when playing the traditional queue? You do not. You can finish your quests and get your daily wins, but you don't get, like, gold for playing on demand. Perfect. Never didn't have it. Doing pretty well. Life is swell. Wrapping up the last stream of the week. Gonna take the weekend off, hang out with the kids, watch some of the Star City games open. First big standard tournament of the weekend. And your old John Dino's list would benefit from the Wild. Probably, honestly though, Isabats, I think I'd probably just rebuild it in the vein of the other decks that we've seen. Like, we tried the Girl Rhythm deck, and I think they're probably just better. You just, like, the only reason you were Junned before is because you didn't have Stomping Ground, so it didn't make sense not to splash, but because you have Stomping Ground now, you can build just a good green-red deck. Any predictions for SCG? Yeah, I think Wilderness Reclamation is probably going to fall short, and I think the decks that were good last season are still going to be good. And the decks that were good last season still be good also comes down to the fact that, like, it's hard to get cards for week 1 tournaments a lot of the time. Control will win? No. If you want a safe prediction, 20 Basic Mountains will win. Go back and look at, like, standard opens of history's past. Look at how many Basic Mountains are in the first place lists on average. Hint, there's a lot. Azeen's pretty good in the Control Mirror. Not countering a Teferi, but stopping a draw 3 here seems pretty important. We've not played Jeskai Angels on stream. Nope. Pretty much everything we streamed you can find on the YouTube channel. That's not true, Jukebox. Twitch doesn't ban snipers. As a streamer, do I have a plan when streaming is/if no longer a viable plan for income? Do you think future employers will be concerned seeing the large gap between traditional job experience? Nah, I don't care. God, I've got plenty of, there's a lot of people who, like, stream on Twitch because, like, there are a number of people who stream on Twitch as, like, their only option, but, like, I have a master's degree in mathematics. I have a GitHub full of projects that I've worked on and different stuff. I just started doing this because I like it. That's why I started doing it. And, like, when it turned into a job, like, it's great that it's a job. And if it's a job, as long as it continues to be a job, I'll be here streaming because it's great. I also think that as we move more into the future, I think people are gonna more and more recognize, like, what this is and recognize it as a legitimate source of income and a job, and people will understand the different things that go into it. Like, the skills and the things that I do here are very transferable and relatable to other things in the real world. You could put self-starter and small business owner on your resume unironically. You could, I mean, you could, yeah, so you could argue that, like, what I do here is a marketable skill, because, like, I've succeeded at least for the time being where a lot of people don't end up succeeding. It's possible I should have taken their Cleansing Nova rather than their Ral, since Cleansing Nova kills Chromium. Although I guess I could just flash this in and kill that at this point.
I know my responsibility. Keep up the pace.
One of the things that feels really awkward about this build, and this is definitely related to the mana too, the fact that there aren't any hard counter spells in this deck. So, like, people have been asking me to compare this to Bant Flash. So, like, Bant Flash has a bunch of hard counters in it, which makes it really good in these matchups like this that are, like, very interactive and back and forth. But it makes this it makes this deck has a much harder time in these matchups because it's traded off having card counters for like cards like Syncopate instead of Absorb and Frill Mystic.
A matter of time.
So I kind of get a 2-for-1. It's not even really a 2-for-1, right? Like, it's a 1-for-1. Like, my Chromium killed their Teferi, but their Teferi drew a card, and then they're going to trade their Cleansing Nova for this. So the reason why this deck's not playing Absorb or more Hand-Tate is because you need to be able to cast your spells consistently. And like, well, obviously you can look at this lands I have in play right now and go, oh, we have plenty of blue sources. In reality, something's got to give. It's free real estate. And so, another problem that feels like it kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that this deck... Another problem that happens with how this deck is built because there's no hard counters. Because I don't have hard counters, I don't have a good way to protect my threat, which puts me at a pretty big disadvantage in these matchups again, because like my threat density is kind of low because there's a lot of answers in my deck. So if I don't have ways to protect my threats, it's very easy to run out of ways to actually win the game, which is something that we saw in the Sultai matchup last game. We kind of just got run out. Yeah, I use 3 monitors to stream Isabus. A lot of people use 2. 3 is great. I feel like if you're streaming efficiently, you always want to be able to see your Twitch dashboard and your OBS. So I put one of those on each monitor. Yeah, like the idea of having more hard removal, like hard removal to kill things that resolve, is appealing, but like the flip side is like everything's resolving against this deck because we don't really have counter spells. OBS is the software that captures what's on my screen and sends it up to Twitch, called Open Broadcast Software. I mean, it's not even just about being pre-boarded for the aggro matchups. Even post-board, we don't have that many counter spells. Like, compare to the Bant deck, where we have 7 counter spells in the main deck at a minimum, plus, 3 to 4 more in the sideboard. And a similar number of threats. Yep. We've not played a gate deck on stream. Hopefully we'll play against aggro in the match after this one. I definitely think this deck's much worse than Bant in the control matchup, but it's probably much better against the decks playing creatures, right? Like, I imagine, like, the Groll matchup, which is hard for Bant, is, like, probably much better for this deck that has removal spells. Alright, 1 Vraska's Contempt, please. If we miss on Contempt here, I'm gonna concede. Alright, we've got 3 negates and a Bloodfest. Extra Thought Erasure, Thief of Sanity. Use a second PC for streaming? No, it's all built in. Do Twitch ads give you a reasonable revenue stream? No. Ad revenue's like 5% of my total income per month, if that. It's probably like 5% or so. It's very low. And Twitch ads actually tend to pay out a lot less than YouTube ads do even, so like, that's why you see me plug my YouTube channel for replays. I probably just want like all my threats, right? Like cut these Revitalizes. This answers Nip Visit really cleanly, which is nice. Twitch ads are easier to get around. Okay, fair. It's a good thing to know. I mean, we could have looked at their hand on the way out, but, like, what's in their deck's going to change pretty drastically post-board. Sure. No, we're still playing card for card what we started with. We've been playing this deck for almost an hour, but we've only played 2 matches because we've hit 2 control mirrors in a row. I agree. Azcanta does not feel good in this deck. The fact that Azcanta can't find any of our threats is a pretty big drawback. So like, the way this deck is set up right now, this deck is like black, white, splash blue. And I almost feel like I would rather this deck was blue, white, splash, black. Like, if I had, like, Absorb to be able to cast, and, like, so I tilted my mana so, like, I only had 14 black, so I, like, didn't play Vraska's Contempt, but I could, like, play Mortify and Moment of Craving. Would allow me to play things like Absorb to have actual counter spells in my deck. I didn't cast Search for Azcanta there because I want to cast Chemister's Insight. Perfect. And now I can just get to curve, like, Mortify this plus Search for Azcanta. And, like, for matchups like these where I would want to, like, be able to kill Planeswalkers, we just, like, play Eldest Reborn instead of Vraska's Contempt. I'm gonna take their Chemister's Insight here. Syncopate seems fine. Go ahead and kill this. Yeah, Eldest could be okay. I think that's a card that's, like, reasonable to be playing. Ditch this Mortify, which might be a little bit greedy. See how this goes. I'm gonna hold on to that as a safety net, I think. Well, if you have Twitch Turbo's like... Twitch Turbo is similar to YouTube Red or YouTube Premium now. I'm so glad they stopped calling it YouTube Red. That was a huge marketing mistake. Where if you have Twitch Turbo, the streamer still gets money for the ad you didn't watch, basically. So if this gets countered by anything other than Syncopate, it goes to my graveyard, then we can flip Search for Azcanta next turn. Not that that does a whole lot for us, but it is something. I guess that's punishment for ditching the Mortifies. They found their own search. They're definitely a much better search deck than we are. I'm actually gonna be done with this for now. I'm gonna be done with this match. I want to make some changes to this deck. I feel like I want to restructure what the mana looks like and get some actual counter spells in here. I feel like making our mana double black to play Vraska's Contempt is in the main deck is much worse than making our mana support double blue for Absorb. Like, you could even play Vraska's Contempt to the sideboard and be fine, I think. But, like, I'd much rather have the blacks be the splash, so that way I can play double blue spells like Absorb. Alright, so what does the mana look like at the moment? So I have 14 blue sources. So I'm going to go up to max on Glacial Fortresses, which puts me to 16 blue. Probably want a 17th blue so I can play Absorb efficiently. Let's go up one more Drowned Catacombs here. And then I want 16 white altogether. I'm going to get rid of both these swamps. That's 18 white, so I can get rid of one of those. This is 26 lands. 25 lands is probably plenty. So that's 16 white, 17 blue, and then how much black? 13 black is probably fine. I think playing some basics is smart. You just, like, want your basics to... You want some basics not only for Settle, but also, like, Assassin's Trophy and other miscellaneous things that, like, punish you if you don't have basics in your deck in this format. I think that many Revitalize, especially with Moment of Absorb, is probably a little bit heavy. What are other threats we can play? So I've got these. What has flash in these colors? There's like Dire Fleet Poisoner. I wonder if Dire Fleet Poisoner is just like a card that I want to play. I think this card's like plenty playable. That seems fine. Yeah, you can find a Rakdos deck on my website under standard decks. Bloodfast was really sweet. I don't really want to get rid of that. I don't really think we need a Kaya's Wrath in the sideboard. This seems more reasonable. Kind of wouldn't mind one more black source in the mana base. How many white sources did I end on? 16. 16's probably where I need to be for white. I probably want a 14th black. I'm going to cut a Plains and go up an Isolated Chapel. I don't really want to cut another mana source. Yeah, we cut Azcanta. Azcanta's gone. This seems reasonable. Let's give this a try. Like I said, I think just not playing counter spells in a deck like this is a pretty big miss. Not playing hard counters specifically. I like what Mortify is doing. Mortify is a card that I'm like super high on in the format in general. Like destroy a creature or like take out an enchantment is very flexible and somewhere where you want to be. How do I feel about the interface? I think a lot of my complaints about the interface have to do with little things that don't involve the actual gameplay for the most part. Like the deck editor leaves a lot to be desired. But I think they know that. It's almost always a beard stream. I guess I was. If you're a newer viewer, I had it trimmed a little bit short recently because I left the normal guard that I used when I trimmed my beard at the other house when we moved, and I haven't gone back to get it yet because the weather's been real bad. What's going on, Kolpak? Yeah, good games to you too. I conceded the last one because our deck felt like it was built kind of poorly for the control mirror, so I decided to just drop and like get to another one so we could rebuild a little bit. Honestly, the biggest thing the deck editor in Magic Arena needs, in my opinion, is just the ability to resize the panels. The fact that you can't resize the panels is like super obnoxious. Like just being able to drag and drop, which are... Nice, Zoran. Congrats. Alright, well, real easy take Enigma Drake here. I'm gonna bin Chromium. We're just like looking for a land at this point. Moment of Craving and Dire Fleet probably gonna be a little bit mediocre. This will at least trade with their Lava Coil at some point. Yeah, there's it. You can't directly port from Moto to Arena. They're written in completely different languages. Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and Revitalize here, digging for a removal spell for this. I was gonna flash this in, but now that we need an answer, let's dig a little bit. Alright, sweet. I've played 0 ranked games, so if you've won even a single ranked game, you are definitely higher ranked and thus better at Magic the Gathering than I am. My Moto and Arena are both written in English. That's great. That is... I wish I could upvote Twitch chat comments because that is an A+ comment right there. That's really good. Rats! I was really hoping they'd attack with this as something smaller than an X4 so I could just like flash this in and block it. Spell pierce me, baby. My friend. How would Teferi be in this deck? It's probably fine. Teferi's just like a good Magic card. Okay, sweet. I wanted more threats. I really like this card in general. Also, this deck was kind of light on ways to kill... This deck was kind of light on ways to kill, what's it called? Carnage Tyrant, and Dire Fleet definitely helps with that. About your stream, and I love your commentary. You're awesome to watch. Question, are you playing decks that your fans and followers mix, or ones you find smart? So it's a mix of the two. So a lot of the decks that I play here, The Good Doctor, are decks that are submitted through the deck submission form on my website, and there's a deck queue of decks that are currently being waiting to be played that you can find there as well. So I'm going to play this during my upkeep, so that way I can surveil before I draw a card for the turn, and also hopefully send this Div Visit back where it came from. Looking for a Mortify to kill this with later. So pick that back up. You could maybe make the argument that I should wait a turn to do this so I could try and Thought Erasure the Niv while it's in their hand, but at the same time, I haven't seen a Mortify in 36 cards, so like I'm pretty likely to find one. And if they get even one turn with Niv when they untap, like I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. So like, yeah, I think they didn't have a dive down last turn, so I think I just have to like Chemister's Insight here and like hope to hit a Mortify. The Dream Eater animation is also A+. It's half the reason to play Dream Eater in this deck. Yes, that's also true. Okay. Alright. Alright, so... They draw Spell Pierce. They drew Spell Pierce. Opt. Okay. Okay, well, if they don't kill us on their untap, Profane Procession could be very good here. We are kind of unlucky that we've gone, you know, 26 cards with 0 Mortify, but this Procession, if they don't kill us next turn, could be very good. They have to deal They have to draw 14 cards next turn. Sorry, 13 cards, so we're taking one from their draw step anyways. So we could die here, and they could create an insurmountable advantage even if we don't die. But if we get to untap, this Procession bodes well from us. Of course I read chat. Hey Jeff, feel free to get a timeout for spamming the same thing over and over again. I've got you in my sights. We time people out because we care. It means we love you. If you get timed out, it means somebody noticed your presence. Any tips for starting an arena? Yeah, play Magic the way you enjoy. If you're brand new to Magic, I'd recommend starting with Limited because it's a smaller card pool to start from. Timeouts last 10 minutes. And this turn's been a good example of why we often say untapping with the visit means you win the game. Just like we were at 19 when their turn started here. There's a good chance when they finish we could be dead. I don't have 10 mana, which is unfortunate. Which means if they have a dive down, I just lose. If I had one more mana, I could do this twice. Yeah, good game. Tough beat not finding the Mortify early enough. Pretty likely that they win once they untap with a card like that. Just how it goes. Bring in Vraska's Contempt here, another Procession. Couple of negates. Dire Fleet Poisoner's pretty bad here. Settle the Wreckage is like okay, but not amazing. Moment of Craving's pretty bad. That gets us to 60. I guess Consecrate Consume is like pretty good. Revitalize is a little mediocre. Yeah, Consume gets her on dive down, which is really nice. Is this better than the last Revitalize? Probably. If I cast Erasure first, I die to a Shock or a Lightning Strike. I guess I already did that. Well, it was already dead to Lightning Strike, so I die to a Shock too. And like they played a Shock already, which means they probably have a bunch of Shocks in their main deck. So, like, we're picking and choosing, chat, right? Like, I do what I did, I lose to dive down, half the chat mouths off and tells me that we should have played around dive down and played the Thought Erasure first. I play the Thought Erasure first, I get shocked that I die, half the chat tells me I should have played around Shock. Like, it's just like how it goes. 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. How do you decide early in the format what cards have merit to explore? You just gotta play games. Like, a lot of it is based on experience too, like looking at a spoiler and being like, okay, these cards look interesting, let's start playing games there. But at the same time, like, you know, even I've been talking about on stream cards like Biogenic Ooze or the Ravager Worm. Like, these are cards that when I read over them in the spoiler, I was like, these don't seem very good, let's not play them. But then, like, someone submitted a list and we actually played games and I was like, oh, these cards seem really powerful. So, like, even when you have a lot of experience, like, there really isn't a substitute for just playing games. The biggest thing that makes evaluating cards so difficult, especially in Standard, is Standard is changing constantly, so the power level is different with every set and season to season, especially when rotations happen. So it's very difficult to, like, parse something as being good or bad in a format that's new, because like the power level is different. So that means a card that like was playable previously might not be playable in the new format, or vice versa. If you're using the import feature right off the widget, try and use the import feature from their website. Someone else mentioned the other day that the Stream Decker on the overlay wasn't working correctly for them. What's going on, Ian? Wonder if they have Lava Coil in their deck post board here. It's another Drake, sure. That's nice. Alright, what do you got? They have Dive Down, they have Double Niv, they have a Crackling Drake. I think I'm gonna take Crackling Drake, 'cause with Double Dream Eater in my hand, I might actually just be able to tempo the crap out of these Nivs. Do I want to trade this Angel for a Drake and a Shock? I don't think I do. They could block, shock this, it takes 2 damage, this goes up to 2 power. Alright, negate sweet. That's really sweet. Alright, let's start by attacking here. This card is really good against Drakes. Their deck tends to be kind of not that threat dense on average. So the fact this is like a repeatable removal effect, even though it's expensive, is fantastic. I'm gonna shock this in, not only to hold up the Settle the Wreckage, but also so we can flashback Chemister's Insight if we want to. Yeah, they probably should have shocked my face. This gives them the land for Niv, but like, I have Profane Procession. Sure. Deal. Something's getting spell pierced at some point, and might as well be now. That's true. They had the dive down though, so like, they have protection from a removal spell in a way. Mythic Championship, Gabriel Paints. We're fancy here now. We have Mythic Championships. One Enigma Drake, please. It's gonna be months, if not years, right? One Niv visit, please. They do get to draw 2 cards with this because they get to dive down it, which draws them a card, and then I get to negate, which draws them a card, but we take the Niv off the table and we still have Procession going, so that seems fine. So this deals 2 damage to us, and they draw 2 cards, so like, this is one of the reasons why Niv is so powerful, right? Like, even in this best case scenario for us here where we get it off the table, it's still true too. Yeah, SCG isn't silly like Wizards of the Coast. Every tournament that SCG does that's a major tournament has streaming coverage. Well. How do I even hold all of this candy? Yep. The old Surveil 3 to the top. Yes, please. Mortify does exist. Oh, I should have stacked that differently, right? I should have left Mortify on the very top, probably. I guess it doesn't really matter with this in play. That's a good line. I could have processioned my own Dream Eater and then flipped it. I just assumed this was templated to only exile their stuff, but it's anybody's, which is sweet. All right, let's see if they have the 3rd and 4th dive downs. Alright, onward, upward, backward, forward. Yeah. Yeah, this card's really powerful in this style of matchup. I'm gonna go ahead and run it back. Thanks, Litos. I appreciate the compliment. Thanks for dropping in today. Aaron, I don't know if we're gonna get to Memekin and 4-color hero. I'm starting to drag a touch. We're definitely gonna play blue-green ooze next, because I've been wanting to try that deck, but that might be the last one we do today. We've been up for almost 10 hours already, so we finished blue-green ooze. I'll probably be about 11 hours. How has this deck performed so far? Long and grindy. We played like 3 pseudo control mirrors. Like we played 2 full-on control decks in the first 2 matches, and then like now we're playing against like this Drake's control deck. Yeah, I agree. I think having counter spells is much better. Like having the ability to interact on the stack more to protect our threats feels valuable. And honestly, like having Mortify is valuable too, right? Like Niv Mizzet is a tough nut to crack for the Bant Flash deck that we've been playing. So like having access to 4 Mortify just like solves so many problems that Bant has. No, I don't think so, Turkin. So using the counterspell there plays around them having multiple dive downs. I just have to take the Niv off the table. I also, like, ideally want to have all my mana when I untap the following turn. And if I, like, plan to procession it again on my next turn, then I'm not going to have all my mana up. We have board wipes. We have a bunch of copies of Settle the Wreckage. You overpaid, it's only 1 mythic wild card. Firm agree. That's the best part about Arena. It's just completely detached from MTG finance nonsense. You know, I've thought about trying to build 4-color Flash. The biggest problem is just, like, it's so tough to splash Frilled Mystic. That's what I'm here for, Turkin. As a non-meme streamer. They can't play Niv for 2 more turns at least here, so let's just go ahead and fight over this, I think. I'd have to discard the hand size here too, which I prefer not to do if I don't cast some spells here. Yeah, bad decks cost the same as good decks on Arena. So if you only want to play bad decks, Arena is more expensive to you than playing Paper Magic for sure. But for a lot of people, the ability to pay the same to play a bad deck as you do to play a good deck is like upside. Wow, they have a lot of removal in their deck. Getting to shock this in while I have Chemister's Insight down here feels really good. Because it, like, looks like I'm just going to do this when I'm actually going to settle them. And I think I'm going to shock this in next turn just so I can, like, get Chromium going. Although I guess Chromium's kind of bad. They lava coil it. And then, well, I guess I have Absorb to keep it alive, too. This is the 3rd game. Consume's pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna take it slow for half a second here. I'm just gonna play this tapped and then play the Chemister's Insight. Consume gives us a nice out to Nib Visit, which is sweet. Maybe I'm supposed to shock this in just so I can absorb plus Chemisters. I could see that being reasonable. Wonder if this build just wants a second Chromium in the sideboard for these control matchups. It's just like your best card to have early. Absorb and Revitalize to gain life. Is it reasonable to play? No, I don't think Seal Away is good. I think Seal Away is just not a playable Magic card right now. I think if your deck has any other reasonable tools, just don't play Seal Away. So I know they don't have a Dive Down or a Spell Pierce right now, so this gives them one chance to draw it. So I think I want to just Mortify here. Seal Away has awkward timing restrictions because the creature has to be tapped that you're taking away. Now, I should probably hold that land for Chromium, actually. And on top of the awkward timing restrictions, Seal Away also... what's the word I'm searching for? Seal Away also gets destroyed and interacted with, which makes it not a great scene. They don't have double white for this Settle the Wreckage, which is pretty good for us. Mortify made enchantments considerably worse. More biddies for Black Red Isrith. Remember Black Red Isrith. What's going on, Sal? Thanks for the support. So Chromium's hopefully gonna end this game before Search can take over for my opponent. And, like, again, like, the only reason to play Seal Away in most decks is because it's, like, your best option. And, like, this deck has better options. We get to play Mortify. We get to play Consume. We get to play Cast Out if we wanted to. We get to play actual rule spells that just, like, aren't Seal Away. Yeah, Consume is really good. Honestly, this deck could probably stand to have Consumes in the main deck. They might be better than Revitalize. Yeah, probably not better, just different. That's unfortunate. So, I need to negate this, which then means next turn they can Lava Coil this. I'll make it a 1/1, and then they can Deafening Clarion on it. So, unfortunately, Chromium's only going to get one more hit in here, and then they have Azcanta going, so we're actually kind of behind. So, if they sequence these correctly next turn, we're probably dead. Just because Azcanta's going to bury us in the ground. Well, if they just pass here with Settle the Wreckage up, I can draw a counterspell. Or I could draw another land. Drawing another land would work too. So we have 9, 10, 11, and we've discarded 2 lands, so 13 lands and 36 and 24 cards. A little above average. A little above average. You can always find the deck queue on my website here at bit.ly/deck queue. Yeah, this one's slipping away real quick. Yep.
I can no longer stand by and watch.
We've not played Golgari Splash Blue on stream. I'm gonna take one more draw step. If we were like a Chemister's Insight, we could maybe draw a bunch of cards and get in the game. Well, apparently they didn't know how Chromium worked, so the deck, we won the game, but the deck should have lost that game, because they just, like, cast Deafening Clarion and we lose. Unfortunately, we ran into 3 control matchups with this deck, so like we've been playing it for 90 minutes and I've only played 3 matches. And like the first 2 set of matches we played, it felt a little bit awkward because we didn't have any copies of Absorb. We had a bunch of copies of Syncopate that felt really clunky. And I just really feel like if our deck is only playing a few number of heavy hitting threats, we have to have a hard counter in order to keep them protected. The changes we did in addition to adding this, we also added some Dire Fleet Poisoners, which I think is sweet. This is like a cheap pseudo removal spell that's like also a threat in some matchups, so I think that's fine. I actually think this deck probably sets up to have a pretty reasonable aggro matchup between Craving, Revitalize, and Absorb. I honestly wouldn't, obviously we haven't played a lot of games, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this build is probably more competitive than the Bant build that we've been playing, just because like being able to interact with the board is really important in Standard, and like the Bant build really struggles with that, and Mortify is just very, very good. Being able to destroy target creature or enchantment is quite fantastic. They had 2 white. They could have cast Clarion, I'm pretty sure.